Hey guys, so apparently Sean Penn is trending on Twitter, and he, along with Matt Damon and Jennifer Aniston, have also been parroting the same mantra that basically Hollywood needs to take a stronger stand when it comes to promoting vaccination. Um, and I think this is something that we need to discuss. So it was really curious because Jennifer Aniston, as far as I know, she tries to live a very um, not minimalist in terms of glamour, but minimalist in terms of what she takes inside of her body. She has a very strict diet, and it's pretty much the same thing like every day. She eats a lot of natural foods. And some people might even call it a bit extreme because the level of variety in her diet, it doesn't have that much. And the irony is that she is one of the few people that looks like someone in her 20s and she's really a lot older, and people attribute that to her strict adherence to this diet and this lifestyle. So for her to be promoting a a medication that just came down the pipeline that has not had years, it's not even approved by the FDA, and for her to be promoting that is just really ironic. And then you have these other celebrities, like I said, Sean Penn is trending on Twitter right now, and they're all actually under the the Hollywood Reporter, being promoted by the Hollywood Reporter on this issue. And so you again, the strategy is to get celebs on board with talking about this. So you have to stop yourself for a minute and ask, of course, why. And I think that a lot of people do, but it does get annoying when people that not I really don't um, pride myself on finding celebrity role models. That's not how I was raised, but a lot of people do, and it's concerning that never before has a medication been hot, right? Has ever a medication been trending, a medication been hip? And that's what we're seeing now. So, and then like with what this tweet says, it says Sean Penn says movie business industry needs need not be timid and take the lead on vaccination efforts. Which, I mean, okay, just in all fairness, that doesn't sound like a threatening statement. But for it to be trending means that there's more to this statement, right? So maybe he feels like the Hollywood industry doesn't um, drag the narrative that this is a primordial issue. Like this is essential and needs to be center stage, and we should be having videos done about the vaccine, all this stuff. Um, and then you have the other side where it's like, well, people are trying to keep Hollywood out of politics, and they're being frustrated that these celebrities are being used as marketing tools. You're like, okay, well, I mean, either way, it doesn't answer the question as to why this tactic is being employed, right? The focus of getting influential people to be involved means that there's the need for help from the individuals who are hoping to get more and more people vaccinated is being used. And I just never seen this before where um, people in Hollywood are being used to promote any sort of health system. I mean, usually they're promoting the opposite of health, right? They're promoting Coca-Cola, McDonald's, sugar cereal. They're usually not promoting healthy things, right? Have you ever seen like, you know, The Rock promoting carrot juice? I mean, maybe he does because he drinks a lot of like protein shakes or whatever. But um, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to this medication. And honestly, if it's that, if we've gotten to the point where we have to include uh, Hollywood and ask them to be not so timid in taking a lead on back, if Hollywood actors to clap and push a medication, okay, I think people should just stop right there and say, wow. I mean, either I am, I honestly don't know enough about what's going on to, for myself to take a lead on the situation at hand, or they're being used as marketing tools. And typically, marketing tools are being used to make money. I mean, that's my opinion. So I just feel like it's almost, I mean, and aside from, you know, the issue of mandates and people who are opposed to the vaccine and people who are for the vaccine and the split conversation on this whole thing, aside from that, okay, I personally find it to be insulting when politicians and probably eventually, you know, if not already, sports idols are pushing a medication on society like that. For some reason, I don't know why, it just really irks me. And I feel like, you know, maybe if there was a bit more leniency on exactly how we could approach the issue, then maybe that's fine. You know, I mean, I'm all for, you know, athletes promoting Gatorade, even though Gatorade has a bunch of artificial ingredients in it. And I'm on the fence about Gatorade too, but I get it. They want people to, at the very least, have electrolytes, you know? And so when you're faced with an issue like this, it looks like the noble thing to do to come out and be vocal about the options that are laid in front of us. But on the flip side, we don't want to talk about other things. We're pressured not to talk about other things. We're pressured not to talk about other options. And so that puts a bad taste in my mouth when not only is certain information discouraged, but then there's this push within the Hollywood movement to talk about why this is so great. It just, it makes it really creepy. So I just want people to think. I want people to make sound, informed decisions. And it's so crazy because Jennifer Aniston was saying that she feels like fear and propaganda are keeping people ignorant with regards to what's happening. I would argue that fear and propaganda are doing just that. I think fear and propaganda have been so affluent, and we keep hearing one side of the issue that it shocks and deters people that would like another side to be compared to the narrative, and they're just not given that option. They are not given the option to hear another side on how we should approach the pandemic. We just aren't given that option, and I think that is incredibly unfair. And I think that the reason for the suspicion for a lot of people has to do with just that. um you know, as an African American myself, I can speak to the intimidation from our community regarding this vaccine. Um and I think that's something that unfortunately the government has just not done a great job of pacifying fears. You know, you're talking about Latinos and Blacks and them being the majority of people who are leery about this inoculation. Well, you cannot blame them because they are coming from a background where they were not encouraged to trust their government. So now you want them to just switch and just change on the dime and just be open to this new drug that's just been rammed through the pipeline, and no questions asked, no questions permitted. And on every other side, push, 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 push as far as we can go to the level of mandates. It just doesn't equate, it doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense. So um, when I see things like this, and when I see other people talking about this issue and being just blatantly ignored, discouraged, just shut down. It doesn't breed an environment of trust in the least. And it's discouraging when people like Hollywood, again, they will gaslight the whole situation, act like nothing is going on the other side. This is a one shot issue. There's one, no pun intended, there's one way to address this. And that's the approach that they're encouraging. And I think that's unfair. And it doesn't make them look wise. It doesn't make the strategy any more trustworthy than people already see it to be. And it's the purpose of the whole initiative. But that's what I had to say with regards to some of the comments made by our esteemed Hollywood professionals. And I will be back to talk about other topics. But yeah, I just wanted to share my opinion on Mr. Sean Penn and Jennifer Aniston and Matt Damon with regards to what's going on. But yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.